Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Can you can you hello
Yes, yes,
participant? Can you hear my voice?
yes.
My
I can hear.
voice?
I can hear your voice and see your slide. That's good.
Okay. I communicate with participant first. Idea that can you hear me?
But your voice is
Hear me?
not clear. Your voice is not clear. Maybe the network, the signal.
Okay. Yeah, maybe there is connectivity. Okay. Okay. Now you can hear me.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. We just we just about the insurance system. It's voice is me. Oh, hello, product insurance system is mandatory. Mandatory for mandatory for company. The company wants apply certification. They must implementation of the halal product assurance system. Based on Indonesia regulation, there is the law of the Republic of Indonesia number 33. There's 20 of on halal product assurance. Okay. Product assurance, we have some definition and implementation. The first is product. Product good or services that are related to food, beverage, drug, cosmetic, chemical product, biological product,
Sound is
and
very
general
bad. I can't
product,
hear anything.
as well
I
as
can't understand.
consumer good that are
Yeah. I'm sorry, Mr. Adisam. We cannot hear your voice. Is very bad. Very bad voice. Oh, Mr. Adisam.
the other room. Wait,
Okay, okay.
I will move to other room. Is it clear?
Yeah, yeah. Better.
Okay,
Better.
I
Yep.
move to the fifth floor. Wait.
I'm so sorry, Miss participant. We have technical problem. Technology takes time. I'm so sorry.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, much better. Okay, please.
Better?
Yes.
Okay. I running from the first floor to fourth floor. Okay. Can the other participant hear my voice? Is it?
Yeah.
Yes,
Please.
yes, thank you.
Okay, okay, brothers. Apologize for
Very
the.
clear, no problem.
Okay, we will discuss about the halal product assurance system. Halal product assurance system is a standard or criteria. If you as an auditor go to the company or the enterprise must implement a halal product assurance system. Okay, is it clear? Okay, in this standard, we have some definition and nomenclature. The first is the product. Product are good and or services. So there is two kinds, goods and services. Related to the goods is food, beverage, drug, cosmetic, chemical product, biological product, genetical engineered product, and also as well as consumer good. These depend on the scope. If you as a auditor of food, so the scope for audit and certification is for food and others. The next is a halal product. Halal product is a product that has been declared halal according to Islamic Sharia. And also halal product process is a process, a series of activity in the factory. Begin from the procurement of material, how the company process the material to be the product, and then a packaging process, and then a storage process, and distribution, sales, and presentation of the product. That's the process in industry. The next is the nomenclature or definition is material. Material is the ingredient used to produce or manufacture the product. This is the main point of halal auditor. The halal auditor must review or verify or check how the ingredient is it come from non-halal material or halal material. This is the main function of the auditor. The next is halal product assurance system. This is we call in Indonesia SJPH. This is legal assurance of the halalness of the product, which is proven by halal certificate. Next is halal product assurance organizing agency. This we call BPJPH for Indonesia. But now you is halal CB each country. Next is halal auditor and their halal certificate and halal supervisor and halal label. The next is about the criteria for the halal product assurance system based on the Indonesia regulation issued by the BPJPH number 20 of 2023. Okay, I will directly to the concept of halal product assurance system. Can you see the screen?
Yes, very clear.
Okay. In this standard, we have the first is introduction, second scope, third is term and definition. Four is principle of halal product assurance system. The main criteria of halal product assurance system is number A is a commitment and responsibility. Second is material. Third is halal product process, and four is product, and five monitoring and evaluation. This the criteria for auditor. So if you wanna be an auditor, you must understand five criteria. Five criteria start from commitment and responsibility. Okay, I will try to explain the brief before we review based on the description in the regulation. The first is commitment and responsibility. Commitment is a statement or responsibility from the owner or from the top management of the company. So in this criteria, the auditor must check or must verify how the owner or the top management what their responsibility and commitment. The first commitment is top management must provide all sources to operation of halal certification requirement. And then the company must have the halal supervisor. Halal supervisor, there is a person in the company, the responsibility to control all the activity related material, what I mean the material from the buy the material, material incoming inspection, material storage, and then control the process of production, and then control of the product, and then storage and distribution. That's the function of halal supervisor. Halal supervisor requirement in the criteria, commitment, and responsibility. Next is commitment from the owner about the provide education and training for the person internal company. Okay, that the focus criteria for commitment and responsibility. The first is the company must have appoint the supervisor, halal supervisor, and halal team management or halal committee. Next, the company must have the halal policy. So there's a signed by the top management, and then the company must have commitment and responsibility to educate and training the person about the principle of halal, process certification, and others. That the first criteria is commitment and responsibility. This is a brief summary about commitment and responsibility is how the top management of the company have a commitment to provide all sources to operation halal product assurance system. That's the first. Second is material. Material is the ingredient of the product. So the auditor must verify the material about the sources of material. Is it from animal or from vegetable or from synthetic? So the auditor must verify if there is a possibility come from non-halal material. That the brief criteria for material, the auditor must check and verify that the material not come from non-halal ingredient. How you to be checked? By using a supporting document. Supporting document is, for example, halal certificate or also laboratory certificate, also a specification, also flow process of material, and other supporting data like material safety data sheet and others. So the auditor or Sharia or technical auditor must verify and check the supporting document to make a report to decision making that the material is free from non-halal ingredient. Ingredient is the main ingredient, sometimes for food, for example, food additive, and also auxiliary food additive and other for packaging material and also other additive in the material. The brief criteria for material is must free from the non-halal ingredient. I hope this is clear. The next is a halal process, halal product process. This criteria for auditor and also for Sharia, this how the auditor verify the condition of process. How about the facility of the process? The facility, the equipment, how the process the product. Either any possibility using non-halal material, for example, like grease and also the cover of equipment, contact directly with the product must verify that not contain the non-halal material. So the auditor must verify how the company, the process of from raw material until the end of product. So This criteria is the auditor must check every equipment, every facility, contact directly with the product, and then make sure that there is not contain a non-halal material. The next criteria is a product. Product is the scope of certification. Product, for example, like chicky, like a snack, like meal and meal product, like a chocolate, yeah, like others like food additive, like bakery and others. For Indonesia standard, the auditor and Sharia board must have the regulation about the product mandatory of mandatory halal certificate. The regulation is number 944 for food, and the other product is number 748. There's the provider will provide the regulation for you. And the next is monitoring and evaluation. The focus for monitoring and evaluation is how the company do the internal audit and management review, and also how the make a corrective action and preventive action if in the internal audit they have the funding to follow, to make a correction. The focus for auditor, the auditor and Sharia must check the record of internal audit and also the finding and also the follow-up or corrective action and preventive action. And then the auditor must check about the management review, how the company review about the halal requirement, how the company review halal process, how the company review the requirement for halal certification from CB. They have the record, and the auditor must check and review the record of the management review, and then to check who is a participant in that management review, what the result of management review, and then how the corrective action if there is some recommendation from management review. So the auditor must clear 5 criteria halal product assurance system, because this criteria is used by the auditor to compare with the compliance. If you find something in the factory, the auditor can issue the non-conformity or non-compliance. The criteria use this halal product assurance system. 5 criteria of halal product assurance system for Indonesia regulation. If you audit in the company want to export to Indonesia, you must use this criteria to check the condition implementation in the factory. And then based on this Indonesian regulation must comply with halal product assurance system. That the brief information from halal assurance system. So I repeat again 5 concepts of halal product assurance system for implementation in the company. When the company want to apply halal certification, the company must have implemented halal product assurance system. 5 criteria. The first is commitment and responsibility. Second is material or ingredient. And third is process production halal. And then product. And next is monitoring and evaluation. Okay, we go to the detail of the regulation. Is there any question for the first?
Please, if you have a question.
No, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Addison.
Okay.
Okay. I think the okay. Can you see?
Yes, clear.
Okay. This the original. This is the original of regulation from BPGPH. I will send to you in the group, and then you can translate into your language. But from BPGPH, the language is still in English. Degree of the head of the Halal Product Assurance Organizing Body number 20. Yeah, number 20 of 2023. This is the update of amendment of number 57 of 2021. Okay, I directly to the main criteria. The main criteria, if you, as auditor, okay, can you see? Okay. The first is about commitment and responsibility. Commitment and responsibility is written statement from the business to consistently and continuously implement and develop of SJPH criteria. In this, the auditor must check. The auditor must check either in the company there is written statement. The written statement must sign by the top management. So they have the statement letter from the owner or the top management that they have a commitment to implement it halal assurance product system consistently and sustain. The next, the commitment and responsibility include the following elements. The first, halal policy. The auditor must also check the company is there any halal policy. Halal policy is writing statement of commitment from the business to use halal material, process halal product, and produce halal product in according with the halal certification requirement on continuous and consistent basis. The auditor and Sharia also must check in their halal policy. Either in their halal policy, either there is the following commitment. The first, the company must providing human resources and facility to support the implementation of halal process. The next is complying with the law and regulation on the administration of the halal product assurance, using halal material and implementing the halal product process. And next, ensuring that established halal policy is understood and implemented by all personnel. For this, the auditor must check how the how their company communication with the internal personnel. You can interview with the personnel they understand about the halal policy, and the auditor must check the evidence that the personnel have trained to halal policy. And then the company must communicate the halal policy to all stakeholders, like vendor or the other stakeholder. And then you, as the auditor, must check implementing the halal policy consistently. The next is responsibility of the business. In this criteria, the auditor shall ensure, the auditor shall ensure that they have the right and responsibility each function. The first is a function of management, function of production, function of incoming material inspection, and others. So you must review the document in the company. The next is the company must appoint an halal supervisor. The halal supervisor is there is for Indonesia, there is the regulation that the requirement for the halal supervisor. Halal supervisor may be from the business itself or from a third party. If the company is a micro and small business, halal supervisor may be from the business itself, from third party such as Islamic religious. This is for Indonesia. I think for the foreign, the halal supervisor may be from the business itself. The business may establish halal management team that involve all relevant parties. So the auditor must check the evidence that the halal management team appointment letter and responsibility and other evidence. The auditor can interview the halal management team to discuss about their function and their understanding about halal and others. The next is human resources development. This training and education for the personnel of the company. The company must have the training program, and the auditor must check the implementation of the training program, about the result of training, and also the auditor or Sharia also can interview the personnel. Is it they understand about the halal principle and how they control the halal in the factory and others. So the company must have train the halal supervisor and also the other person involved in the process production need to train about the principle halal and haram, about the principle of process halal product and other requirement for halal CB. So as a halal CB, you must inform to the company that they must train the supervisor or also their person about the requirement of certification. Okay, that's the first criteria. Second criteria is the material. Material is ingredient. Ingredient include the raw material, additive, processing aid, packaging, lubricant, sanitizer that come into direct contact with the material of product. You must focus the direct contact with the material or product. Okay, if there is the suspect, you can review in the field or by document or interview with the personnel. Next is processing aid for cleaning, come into direct contact with production facility. And then media for validating result of cleaning facility. This material, this ingredient come from animal, plant, microbiology, material produced the chemical process, biological process, or genetic modified process. Material must be halal certified. That Indonesia regulation, there is two kinds of material. First, material that must be halal certified, mandatory. Second is material that are exempt from the obligation to be halal certified. Most of the material must halal certified, like material from the meat, from the animal and other. But the B criteria is a material from the vegetable is no need to support by a halal certificate. Okay, this material used in the halal production process must meet the following requirement. Okay, one, be halal certified unless the material include in the category of material. Second is material must not come from certain prohibited sources such as pig and their derivative, blood, carrion, part of human body, hammer, byproduct of hammer, material that are not commonly used in the industry, such as material from animal with fang and shape like dog, rat, crocodile, and others. And next is animal that are protected under the provision of law and regulation. Next, material must not be produced in the facility that are also used to produce product from prohibited sources such as pig. This it means halal dedicated. This is very important for the auditor. When the auditor comes to the factory, the auditor must check, is it halal dedicated for production or not? Yes, this is the main focus. The main focus for the auditor. The auditor must check that the facility is halal dedicated or not. Because if they mix the facility, sometimes use of halal product, sometimes non-halal product, I think that cannot certificate because they must clean first after the use of for non halal product. Okay, material must not be mixed with the prohibited or impure material. Materials that are derived from animal and their derivatives must be from halal animal. Yeah, based on the regulation, material from halal animal based on the following provision: all aquatic animal are halal. Yeah, animal that only live in water are halal. The carrion of halal animal is carrion of fish, and land animal must be slaughtered in according with Islamic law and meet the standard of animal welfare and public veterinary health. Number 6, material must meet the safety and health requirement in according with the provision of law and regulation. So the auditor, if you audit halal, you also consider about a safety and health requirement. If the product contain the unsafety on how the ingredient, I think we cannot issue the certificate halal because halal is one abbreviation, halal and toyib. Not halal, not only halal, not only toyib. This is mean halal and toyib. So the auditor must meet the safety health requirement. Okay. The next, if you audit for microbial product, these are for product must comply about the microbial are inherently halal as long as they are not harmful and are not exposed to impurity. Microbi that grow on pure growth media are halal. Microbes that grow of impure growth media, if the microbe can separate from the media, are halal after purification. So in this criteria, if you audit in the microbiological product, for example, vaccine, for example, enzyme, for example, of biological product, you as an auditor must check the media to growth of the microbiome, and then you must check the how their separation, how their purification, and others. Based on your background of education, you must you must have ability to check the flow process of microbiological. Okay, the next is product from microbiology that grow on pure growth media on halal. Product from microbe that grow on impure media if the microbe can be separated from the media halal after purification. That's the criteria. The next is growth media, additive, and or auxiliary material for microbe must not. Yeah, the auditor must ensure that the material must not come from pig or their derivative. Microbe and microbial product from microbe that growth on the growth media that are exposed to impurities, then purified religious takdir Quran drug production with minimum 2 kula. This is a minimum requirement for cleaning. Yeah, this equivalent 270 liter of pure water halal. Microbial material that are obtained without separation from their growth media must use pure and halal growth media. Next is microbial material that are used to make product using genetic modified method must not be inserted with the gene from pig or human. This is very crucial. If you audit in the biological product, in microbiological product, you must check that the genetic modification product must not be inserted with gene from DNA of pig or human. I hope this is clear. This is about the food and beverage product contain alcohol. Alcohol must meet the requirement is the following. For beverage alcohol, beverage that contain ethanol or other compound, including methanol, acetaldehyde, and ethyl acetate that are made by fermentation with engineered from various types of plant that contain of carbohydrate. Beverage that are intentionally added with ethanol and or methanol. Next, beverage product containing khamar, haram, and alcohol beverage that are classified as a khamar or najis, impure and haram regardless of the amount. The use of non-khamar alcohol like ethanol, whether it is a product of chemical synthesis from petrochemical or product of non-khamar fermentation, the food product is ingredient is permissible. Yes, permissible if it is not medically harmful. The use of non-khamar alcohol is final product limit is less than 0.5%. This is a criteria for the auditor. If you find in the factory there is a content of alcohol more than 0.5%, so you must report to the Sharia that the content is higher than 0.5%. That's the limit of alcohol in the beverage. Ethanol from other sources such as cassava, corn, molasses may be used as long as it's not medically harmful and not intoxicating. So you must take the data of toxicity. Byproduct of the khamar, alcohol beverage industry or its derivatives that are separate physically are not allowed to be used. So if you find in the factory that they are not separate by technology, they only separate physically, that's not allowed. Industrial byproduct, alcohol drink or their derivative in solid form, for example, breweries may be used after washing process. So the main focus, the auditor must take washing process that comply with Sharia rule. The use of intermediate products that are not consumed directly, such as flavor containing a non-khamar alcohol as food ingredient, permissible or if not dangerous. So the auditor must check the data is about the product, is contain the intermediate product or not. The next, the use of intermediate product not consumed directly, okay, such as flavor containing the less than 0.5% fermented beverage product containing at least 0.5% alcohol are haram. So you check the content of beverage product. If the content of alcohol more than 0.5% is haram. Fermented beverage containing less than halal, less than. If you find in the factory, in the company, less than 0.5 halal, if they are not medically dangerous. So in this requirement, the auditor must study about the data, about the medical dangerous, about data laboratory and others. The next is non-fermented beverage product containing 0.5. The halal if they are not medically dangerous. Such as soft drink with added with flavor containing alcohol. Yeah, sometimes if the product soft drink they added a flavor that containing alcohol. If the contain alcohol less than 0.5, that's halal. The next is food product result from milk fermentation is halal. Yeah, food product that are result from milk fermentation in the form of solid that contain alcohol are halal. But you must check in the company that there is not medically harmful, then they are not use haram ingredient. Vinegar that come from khamar, whether occur naturally, and is halal. Food product that are result of milk fermentation is halal, that contain alcohol is halal. Food product which khamar is added are haram. If you find the product and eat the khamar, that the haram based on Indonesia regulation. Use alcohol is not derived from the khamar industry, from a chemical synthesis or product non-fermentation is permissible to use if does not harm health, there is no abuse, it is safe, and the correct disease is not used intention make a people drunk. Business company must have supporting document. You as auditor halal must check supporting document from the company. Is there any halal certificate or other material like production process flow, product composition, certificate of analysis, or other supporting document for material. So this, in your country, there is no halal certificate, so you must use the data from production process flow, product composition, certificate of analysis from the laboratory, and also other supporting document, for example, material safety data sheet. So this document you must review in the factory or on the desk to ensure that the valid. The company or business actor must ensure that the validity of supporting document. So the auditor must also ensure the validity of supporting document. validity period, issuing institution, certificate number, and document compliance. Halal certificate document must be registered with BPJPH. If you have halal certificate from the halal CB from other country, so the halal certificate must register to BPJPH before enter to Indonesia market. Okay, the next is the halal product process. Is the main function of the auditor.
Hello, Mr. Adisam. I'm so
Yes.
sorry. Because we are in Indonesia already Maghrib, so I will give 10 minutes to pray for break.
Okay. What time we finish?
9. Sorry, 7.
Oh, 7. Okay.
You will continue.
Okay. Is it clear my explanation? If you not clear, you can raise hand or I don't know. Is it answer? Okay, we break 10 minutes.
For pray Maghrib first. Yeah.
Sure.
I think that's enough. Okay. Okay. Thank you. See you later in 10 minutes.
Can you share this document with us as well, if possible?
Yes, I will send to you in the group the original document. You can translate into your language.
Makasih, Ustaz.
Okay. Is that clear? Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Can we start again?
Yes, please, Mr. Adisam.
Okay. We continue. Can you see the screen?
Yes, very clear.
Okay,
Please.
my voice is clear.
Clear.
Okay, Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khairan, brother and sister. Bismillah. The next criteria is halal product process. This in the factory is a processing. If the company process from raw material to final product, they have the location, place, and equipment. So the auditor must check, must verify about the location. Is it location, separate location, place, and equipment for processing halal product? From location, place, and equipment processing non-halal must separate. Yeah, we call in Indonesia, we call dedicated facility. Yeah, the facility not mixed. The facility for halal and non-halal must separate. That's the main point in auditor halal. You must ensure that in the factory that the separate location, equipment for halal processing halal product and non-halal processing product. That's the main priority for the auditor. And then business or company are obligated to maintain cleanliness and hygiene of the production process and ensure that it's free from unclean and free from non-halal material. This is related about the toilet. That this related about the toilet, the company must maintain cleanliness and hygiene of the process production. And next is the company must required to separate location where halal animal are slaughtered for non-halal animal. These are 4 slaughterhouse. Number 3 is 4 slaughterhouse. They must separate location slaughter between halal animal and non-halal animal. And then the next criteria is a company or a business are required to separate place and equipment for halal and non-halal product, for slaughtering, processing, storage, packaging, distribution, sale, and presentation. That the must separate between halal and non-halal product. And then about the this for specific for slaughter. Slaughter is must separate between halal and non-halal, and also they have regulation from Indonesia physically separating, limiting walls at least 3 meters. If you have the separate, there is wall fence at least 3 meters to prevent movement of people, equipment. So the people and equipment cannot mix. Sometimes using non-halal, sometimes halal. No, there is dedicated for slaughterhouse halal. Not establishing slaughterhouse in area prone to flooding, polluted by smoke, odor, dust, and other contaminants. Having separate solid and liquid waste. There's the auditor. The auditor must check how the company handling wash facility from non-halal or halal. The auditor must check how the handle the liquid or solid waste from the production. All slaughterhouse building must be constructed with the building structure can prevent contamination, the auditor must check the condition of the building and also how the prevent the contamination. And also, slaughterhouse must have separate doors for entry of livestock and the exit of carcass and meat. So the auditor must check when the livestock entry and the process, and then exit of carcass and meat. Okay, the next is food slaughterhouse must separating following process: animal holding, animal slaughter, skinning, removal of overhanging room, carcass handling, refrigeration room, and also waste handling facility must separate. Business or company must use slaughter equipment that meets the following requirement: non-using slaughter equipment, using different tools from for halal and non-halal, using different tools for halal and non-halal in tool maintenance, and also separate storage for halal and non-halal. So the main focus for auditor must take how the storage, how they're cleaning, how they're maintained, how they use the tool, cannot mix between halal and non-halal. The next is location and equipment for halal process. The company or the applicant must separate the following processing area. Yeah, material storage, material weighing, ingredient mixing, product molding, product processing, and other process that affect product processing. They must separate to avoid contamination between one material and other material, non-halal or like unclean. That's to prevent the contamination. The company must separate processing equipment between halal and non-halal, not using processing equipment interchange with equipment used for processing non-halal, that they're using different method to clean halal and non-halal, using different method to maintain halal and non-halal, and also separate storage. Location and equipment for storing halal product, you must separate. Yeah, separate when the receiving material, and then after processing and facility for storing material and product. They must separate to prevent no contamination from the unclean or non-halal material. And also the next criteria is the company or business actor or the enterprise to separate storage equipment between halal and non-halal product. Okay, this is the main focus. The auditor must check how they storage the equipment. Equipment for cleaning, equipment for maintaining, and also must separate storage. And location and equipment for packaging. In the factory, they have the equipment and location for packaging of product. They must separate for halal and non-halal product, and also ensuring that the packaging material they not contain the non-halal product. The next is the company or applicant or business actor must separate packaging equipment. This is the same. And then the location and equipment for halal distribution. Yeah, halal product distribution. They must separation for the truck or the container on the other equipment for transportation must separate between halal and non-halal product. That's the focus for criteria 6 is separate location and equipment for halal product distribution. This number 7 is location and equipment for halal product sales must separate between halal and non-halal product. If you go to the grocery store and others, you must ensure that the halal product and non-halal product must separate. And if the scope of certification is retail or store, grocery, for example. And then the 8th number requirement must separate location and equipment halal product servicing. And next is for distribution, sales and serving animal and animal product must also separate between halal and non-halal. And the last is in the processing, the auditor must check procedure. They must have an implemented writing and documented procedure. One is for material procedure, how the new material come, and then how the check ensure that the material come is not contaminated by the unhalal product or material. They must use how the procedure new material and procedure for procurement and procedure for inspection of incoming material and also procedure for storage of material and product. And the company must have the procedure transportation of material and product. And next, the company must have procedure for halal production process. I think each company, they have the procedure, but maybe not specific for halal material. So the company must have the production process procedure, and then procedure for purification or production facility according to Islamic law. The auditor must check how their implementation, the procedure, how to purification or cleaning the facility, the production process procedure, and production date, animal stunning or animal slaughter if the scope is slaughterhouse. The next procedure is about traceability status, about how they comply with the halal criteria, how the procedure to recall, how the procedure to develop new product, how procedure to display in the retail, how to procedure, how to process the visitor and other procedure. The next is the company must have document evidence for promotion and other photo. The last for criteria is product. The product, the auditor must focus about the label and the packaging. Yeah, the product must not from halal, non-halal ingredient. So the company must produce product from halal ingredient using a facility based on Islamic law, using equipment. And the next, the name of the product. The auditor must focus the packaging and labeling of the product. And then is there no picture, no ingredient in the labeling of product non halal or non-compliance with Sharia law. That's the brief information about the product. You can check directly by reading the regulation. And also, don't forget to check identification and traceability of the product. When you go to the factory have the identification number or traceability. You must check and verify in the factory how the identity, the material, from raw material, process, and final product. That the focus to check identification. The last is about internal audit and management review. You can check the evidence, how the internal audit performed by the personnel, and then how to follow up the finding of internal audit. I think that the brief information about the halal assurance system, halal assurance product system, or halal product assurance system. This is mandatory. If the company want to apply the certification, they must implement this criteria. As an auditor, you must understand, you must know about the criteria, because before you issue a report of audit, you must know the criteria of audit. Okay, that our topic of discuss for this. But if you need more explanation, we can discuss another time. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Adisam. So actually, we running out the time, but if you want to ask, maybe for 1 or 2 questions, please, we will add 10 minutes. Please, dear participant, if you have any questions, so now we go to Q&A session. Or already confused?
Not question, but if it's possible, we see the document, because what he mentioned is very valuable information. But you know, it's
Okay.
only presentation is not enough. So if you can send the PPT, then we can more information get, inshallah.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Miss Elif Kubra from Turkey.
Evet, merhaba, nasılsınız?
Okay. We will send to you the original document and PPT.
Okay.
Terima kasih.
Terima kasih, Miss Elif. How are you?
So please, if you have 1 question or 2 questions, feel free. Because after this, we will break for 1 hour.
Tamam. Şimdi ben yurt dışında yaşıyorum ve
Just a quick question, Ustaz,
internet
in
paketine
relation
giremiyorum
to
çünkü Türk numaramı şey
Sorry.
yapıyor. Şuradan çıkayım.
Okay.
Tabii ben Avustralya numarasını kullanıyorum ama bir türlü değiştiremedim çünkü güncelleyelim.
I can hear
Evet,
some
evet.
Turkish. Sam,
Aslında yurt dışına
can
çıkarken
you mute
onu
yourself?
değiştirmem lazımdı. Türk numarasını koydum ya. Çıkamamışım.
Okay.
Açık mı peki?
Can anybody
Yeah,
do
just a
try
quick
to-
question I have in relation to vinegar that is fermented from alcohol.
Yes.
You know, this is a bit of confusion because based on some of the scholars that we have, is this in regards to Jalala that is completely transformed from one substance to another,
Yes.
because other halal standards, they do not hold the same position in terms of fermentation that comes from alcohol, such as vinegar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Silakan Pak Adisam, ya, please.
For alcohol, the first criteria is the alcohol come from fermentation. Is hammer. But
Yes.
if for Indonesia, there is a limit of the content of alcohol based on research from many institutions. But I think it's better I send to you the MUI fatwa. You can translate into your language to comparison between your mazhab and your regulation in the country. And then based on Indonesia, we have one fatwa from MUI about the alcohol. That's very clear.
Because what we deal here in Australia, especially with the drink kombucha, you know, the kombucha that comes from fermentation as well.
Yes.
And sometimes, you know, that fermentation, that's, you know, the drink that stays for 30 days or so until it's fermented to a certain stage. So that's a bit of confusion to what extent even the final product maybe is less than 0.5% alcohol. And so the drink is sold here in places or, you know, stores where there's non-alcoholic drinks. But the process of fermentation, is there any critical point in terms of how far the fermentation can go?
Okay, when we audit, I have experience in audit, we go to the process first. And then we check there is any content by using a laboratory. And then if the content is higher than, I think the auditor must report to the decision making. Based on my opinion, according to my opinion, I think the criteria, the first, it is for beverage or for food product. For beverage, we use the criteria 0.5 for Indonesia based on the research. But now there is a change. Maybe I will check to you. I will give you the detailed fatwa MUI about the alcohol. I think it's better.
Yeah, and in this document, even this document you just read from just now, that will be very beneficial for us, because there's a lot of important information that we can learn.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Okay,
Terima
thank
kasih,
you.
Ustaz.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Adisam. Thank you, all of participants. So actually, we ran out the time. So it's already 7:10. But because we cut off the time for the break pre-maghrib, so now I will ask to Mr. Adisam to give a closing statement, and don't forget to share your material.
Okay. Thank you, brother and sister. Thank you for the opportunity for sharing the information. This is the first discussion. Not only this. The next, we need a more detailed discussion about the criteria, about the standard. I hope this is the first information used as the advantage, and you will discuss and you will review and the original document. I will send to you all the original document. Congratulations. Apologize if I have too fast in speaking. Maybe I think there is a problem about the connectivity. I apologize for this condition. Thank you very much. Jazakumullah khairan. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank
If
you
you
very
need,
much.
yes, if you need more discussion, maybe you can write in the group. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Adisam. Thank you for your time, for your material, and for your knowledge sharing. And then thank you for all of participants. Now we will break for 1 hour. So we will come back in the next 1 hour. Thank you. See you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.